Imagine getting to play through the entire game as the final boss, with all of their unrestricted power coursing through your very being. That was what I was doing before seeing this challenge run by Lunar Knights. But is Flak really the worst CO? And if not, could the actual worst CO complete the Advance Wars 2 normal campaign mode?
Who's that?
For all of you Advance Wars veterans out there, Jugger's the worst. It's Jugger. You can now skip ahead to the run. Otherwise, strap in, because we're going to compare Jugger to Flak and prove why Jugger is the worst. Jugger, like Flak and some others, is a luck CO. Luck is a hidden mechanic that, for all non-luck COs, rolls an additional modifier to every attack which can add between 0 and 9% damage on each attacking roll. Luck COs get an additional roll after the first luck roll, and it changes greatly whether a huge increase or decrease in damage dealt, even well below the original damage number. Doing less damage than expected can block troops, cause unit loss, and ultimately force resets. And bad luck happens way more often, especially when you need it to the least, or at least it feels that way. Lunar Knights claims Flak to be the worst CO because of his luck dispersion, but Jugger is not only riskier, he has other disadvantages too. To compare the two COs, let's look at their attack ranges. Flak's day-to-day power subjects his normal damage range to a penalty of up to -10% or a bonus of up to +15, whereas Jugger sees a much bigger risk at -15 to +30%. And let me tell you, you'll rarely see that +30%. Flak's normal CO power, Brute Force, costs 3 stars, and it sees his damage range change from -20 to +40%, and it still gives a +10% defense bonus. Jugger, on the other hand, features Overclock, also at 3 stars, and that ranges from -25 to +55%, also including that 10% defense bonus. Barbaric Blow is double the cost of Brute Force, coming in at 6 stars. The Super CO power sees the damage range change from -30 to +80%, and you still do get that 10% defense bonus. System Crash, however, is far worse, seeing the damage dispersion go from -45 to +95%. As good as that might seem, this CO power costs 4 additional stars, coming in at 7 total. And if you're doing less damage, you're gonna charge your power less quickly. And with that comparison, we can see that based on these heuristics, Jugger is more risky and worse off than Flak. And with that, we're gonna pilot Jugger in every single mission as every single player character and see if we can drive back the forces of Black Hole. First, we face off against the original bad RNG bad boy, Flak. His statistically numerable power has conquered virtually all of Orange Star somehow, and with only Jugger standing in the way, the RNG gods will have to smile pretty hard upon us. To be fair, I'm really not concerned about most of the Orange Star missions, as they consist mainly of tutorial levels and are of the easiest levels in the entire game. But Jugger's large firepower dispersion may be a problem in the factory missions moving forward, as well as a few other small key places. The hack I'm using for this run is the Infinite COs hack. Full link, all the praise in the possible world, and everything else you need to know is in the description below. The hack allows for users to play maps and as COs from games ranging from Super Famicom Wars all the way through Dual Strike, and even a few surprises more. I will be accessing the Advance Wars 2 campaign maps through the Versus Mode menu. Because the scripting is still in place on the Advance Wars 2 cartridge where this hack takes place, most of the scripting and some of the cutscenes will still be available, whereas if I was to play maps from Advance Wars 1, Dual Strike, or any other campaign, the scripting isn't present on the cartridge, so it would just act like a regular Versus map. Finally, we begin Mission 1, Cleanup, by heading as far east as we can, luring Flak's infantry south. We are just at a firing range, and Flak's lead infantry has taken cover in the defensively boosted forest tile, with the second backup foot soldier guarding him from outside of our range. I opt to trust the RNG gods with the 0.01% failure chance, and move in my infantry that's blocking my third foot soldier from doing the job if the attack fails. It works, and I can load into the APC, placing it on the nearby southern forest tile as bait. With increased defenses, this gives me the option of allowing an infantry to attack from the protection of the forest if he actually takes the bait. But this is Advance Wars 2. Unloaded APCs are not as desirable an attack target as favorable troop engagements, guaranteed kills, or interrupting captures. Flak is 1 to 2% away from high rolling 6 damage on my 0 defense infantry, taking it down to 5, and being reduced to 8 in retaliation. With a full health infantry as well as 2 damage ones, mopping this up should be an absolute breeze. After an anticipated low roll from my full HP infantry, the damage one gets its 4 HP in, and Flak has been driven back. It's time for a border skirmish. Is Jugger actually subbing for Sammy, or is Jugger a mech suit that is being piloted by Sammy in this instance? We get a high roll on the tank, saving us 1 HP of damage, and there's no way this mech can fail, right? It's good! I skip over Nell's dialogue because her referring to Jugger as Sammy is just weird, and I can't possibly ship that. Now all we have to do is hold the bridge and hope Flak does not successfully swing wildly. I opt to use my tank to block the bridge and bait fire from Flak's tank. If we can destroy it, we'll have sealed the victory. In retrospect, I should have used the mech and advanced my much more mobile tank in the following turn. Thankfully, my foot soldiers do incredibly well overall. However, chasing down this retreating APC will take a while, and I should have blocked off the HQ when I had the chance, but we have out RNG'd Flak this time. Orange Dawn is the first max mission. We lack his incredible firepower, so a careful eye on the health of the B-copters will be absolutely crucial to controlling the medium tanks. Maybe the situation with the copters isn't really all that dire, but part of me's always thinking about this being a deathless run, or at least kill and death counting for a perfect S rank. I decide not to risk it, and I use the full HP medium tank to crush Flak's damaged medium tank, freeing up the copter to pick off the infantry. It may have been all over for Flak this turn if I had to use the artillery on the closest unit and the B-copter on the back infantry, but I don't have a save state, so we'll never know for sure. Okay, I can't lie to you, I know for sure, even though I don't have a save state. I played the map a few times. With Flak on his back foot, it's time to push him off Orange Star soil for good. Though Sammy is right to lecture Max about his range, Jugger has no such flaw. Just don't look at the attack stats. It's how you use them. The units. The trick with this mission Flak attack is baiting the bombers out without losing all of your anti-air units and blocking copters from that pesky fighter. Given that this is Flak and not a capture mission, I bait the fighter with a T-copter, hoping to eliminate it and free up my copters for attacking. The T-copter survives to bait another day. Flak low rolls on the anti-air and has to finish with a copter. It's time to unleash our CO power, increasing our risk from -15 to -25% listed damage and potentially the upside of a +30 to a +55. This could only go really bad. We get the one-hit KO on the fighter. Retreating this damaged infantry allows more attacking tiles for my forces to optimize their attacks. This hero copter does the work of a damaged anti-air, but that bomber threat and Super CO barbaric blow loom at my back. Jugger is all but guaranteed the win here, but will we lose another unit? The bomber is taking the bait, and with 105% base damage against the missiles, it's almost guaranteed to eliminate it. It fails. The remaining anti-air can clean it up though. With the majority of Flak's forces routed, all that's left to do is run down the tank that went into repair mode. Although Flak might not have been much of a threat here, I can assure you that our next threat, Lash, is a tier above Jugger. This is our first mission on a timer with a 7-day limit. It's not super tight for the right CO or if you know what you're doing. But we're relying on Jugger luck here. You have to prevent this T-copter from being shot down, but without Sammy's +1 transport range that might seem impossible. I wonder if this map was originally designed to have multiple COs playable on it, because you can load into this nearby cruiser. Being able to load in air units for protection and transport is a rarely remembered ability of the cruiser. This is because Advance Wars 2 sees very little naval play. The units are just not worth the price tag. My plan is simple: rush the base, lock it down with indirects, and route Lash. I opt to not finish off the rockets, instead giving them targets to waste ammo on and keep it from entering repair mode as long as possible. This will free up the battleship to move towards Lash's central island and provide better coverage against ground units. I almost immediately regret bringing along this loaded APC and think to myself, yeah, you had a second tank. I could have moved the lander without fear after that drop. Normally with Sammy's reduced firepower, damaging units that Lash produces from the base will dent her income and slow her slightly. But that bit of strategy is outperformed by what is surprisingly a bit of good luck and base sitting with my artillery. Doing enough damage to Lash so that she completely fills her CO meter and begins on her Super CO meter, preventing her from popping her normal power, isn't too hard. What you'll want to focus on is clearing up any units that could do significant damage to your capturing infantry. I also fear the instance of a terrain boost, so I overclock to do as much damage as possible. And this full HP tank almost delivers the kill on its own. The battleship weakly follows with mid damage at best. A turn later, the battleship redeems itself. I opt to finish with an HQ cap in honor of Sammy. Also, I didn't want to wait another turn to route 2 HP rockets. We may have defeated Lash before Flak's troops could get here, but she's not through with us yet, because she has an experimental black cannon protecting Flak's troops in the area. Since we use Jugger to do the tutorial missions and Andy probably still doesn't know what an airport is, Jugger will have to square off with a black cannon pointed squarely at him. Jugger and I play it safe, building a tank and the recon rather than base skipping and rushing the northern base with recons. I am worried a few bad RNG rolls could cause a restart here, but recon tank chains prove to work very well in our march northwards. 1 HP T-copters fly the exact same as full health ones, and the cannon will not reduce its hit points to 0. So I use it to take fire for the infantry on the small island. I get greedy and interrupt my own capture to transport an infantry northwards and try to get that northern base a little bit quicker. This will surely not backfire. Base sitting goes well, and Flak has no way of stopping me. It's now a matter of how long it takes me to get the artillery in range. I run an experiment to see if the black cannon takes full damage or if Jugger's RNG plays a factor. As with the other COs, Jugger's damage appears to be exact as it appears on the HUD. This bodes well for factory pipe missions in the future if they all follow the same rules. Test of Time is an optional timed mission in Fog of War where you can unlock Neo-Tanks for Orange Star. Having played this map before, I know that a single reef hides a single lander. Flak probably got that idea from Olaf while he was being manipulated by Black Hole in Advanced Wars 1. You do get some special story-driven intel on indirects hiding in the north, but you still have to be careful if you're moving troops in that direction or planning on going for the route. You can move pretty aggressively across the bridge, soaking up damage with your tank and using that damaged tank to scout out indirects in hiding. I pull out the overclock to try to do the additional 1.6 damage required to the APC, but wind up doing one less instead. Flak returns the favor in true Barbaric Blow fashion, popping a super and whiffing in what should have obliterated my poorly placed artillery. With boosted defense power coming from both the Forest Tile and Jugger's CO power active, Flak's forces can't whiff hard enough to not destroy this artillery. I position rockets and begin the cap. It's me and I know my luck. Actually, I don't know my luck. This whole thing worked out. The long march through Orange Star is almost over. The factory and liberation await. I hope that the pipe seam behaves as advertised. I want to rush a bomber north, but don't remember the timings of the factory releasing anti-air units and missiles. These can absolutely wreck the attempt, as a factory unit can move and attack in the same turn it's spawned. Using the APC and hopefully another fast-moving low-cost unit, we'll be able to capture the airport, build funds quickly, and produce the bomber without being locked down. I count out the spaces to maximize the APC and transport distance of my 2nd Infantry unit. The fast-moving recon should be deployed to the west and be able to delay Flak's advance for a turn or two. In another life, I may have base skipped and produced an early tank to protect the airport. Flak's artillery forces me to retreat the recon, but the bomber has been constructed. With an anti-air ready to shoot down the bomber, I take the gamble that Flak will whiff on taking it out. I produce a copter that could potentially swoop in and finish off the pipe seam. I retreat my damaged unit and try to bait Flak, offering up some infantry to the enemy recon. It is hungry and it takes a bite. The anti-air moves in for what would be a guaranteed kill for most other COs. Only 6 HP of damage? I think that was the absolute lowest possible roll. The rushed out hero bomber seals the deal. Jugger has saved Orange Star from his former employers. Sammy gloats, adding to my fan theory that Jugger is an Ava unit that we were just piloting this entire time. We're now ready to issue the Jugger unit a new paint job with some blue stripes as it enters Blue Moon territory.